Hey, welcome. Today, we are diving into a really mind-bending model that completely rethinks our relationship with light. The idea is that the sunlight we feel isn't just energy. It's actually a complex code. A code that's constantly writing and rewriting our biological story, from our skin all the way down to our DNA. Okay, so let's just jump right in with the big central question. What if we've been looking at light all wrong? We think of it as warmth, as energy to power things. But what if it's also a stream of pure information, constantly programming our biology? This is the core idea we're going to unpack today. All right, so to get started, you've got to understand that light has this dual nature when it hits our body. It can be a force of damage, for sure, but it can also be an incredibly precise director of what our cells are supposed to do. Let's take a look. On one hand, you've got high-energy ultraviolet light. You can honestly think of it like a tiny wrecking ball. When those UV rays hit our skin, they can get absorbed directly by our DNA, and that can cause the kind of damage that leads to aging and disease. But then, on the flip side, you have a red and near-infrared light. This isn't a wrecking ball at all. It's more like a messenger. It delivers information that doesn't damage our cells. In fact, it actually supercharges our cellular power plants, the mitochondria. So, how does all this information get inside us? Well, there are two main gateways. First, there's the skin, our largest organ. It's absorbing the full spectrum of light. It reacts to the damaging UV, but it also uses other wavelengths to build up our resilience. And then you have the eyes, and they're like a direct highway straight to the brain. In the eyes, photons get translated into neural signals that set our internal clocks and basically regulate our entire hormonal system. Now, once that light gets into the body, how does the information travel? This is where the model gets really fascinating. It proposes there's a kind of biological information superhighway that distributes all these signals deep inside of us. So first, imagine your body has its own energetic atmosphere, this invisible field of light and electricity that's generated by all our living cells. This model calls it the biofield, and this field is our first line of interaction with sunlight. It acts like an initial filter, or an informational envelope, that then passes the important signals deeper inside. So where does the signal go from there? Well, it goes into the fascia. We used to think of fascia as just packing material holding our organs in place, but this model totally reframes it as this continuous, body-wide web. And crucially, it's proposed that our fascia is a smart material. It's piezoelectric, which means it creates an electric charge when you move, kind of like a quartz watch, and it's also semiconductive, which means it can carry those electrical signals throughout your entire body, almost like a living fiber optic network. And this is where the model connects with ancient wisdom in a really incredible way. It suggests that the meridians from traditional Chinese medicine, they aren't just some mystical energy lines. They might actually be physical realities, these preferred pathways in that fascial network, acting as super efficient channels for light and electrical signals to travel with almost no signal loss. And if you're wondering how this could even work, there's some pretty cool physics that might explain it. It involves a principle called magnetohydrodynamics. The basic idea is simple. Our body has fluids, like blood, that conduct electricity. It also has its own magnetic fields. As these conductive fluids move, they generate electrical currents. And this process essentially turns that whole fascial network we just talked about into a dynamic, self-powering electrical grid. Okay. So we've got this incredible information network running through our entire body. But how does it connect to the command center, to the brain? Let's talk about the cranial connection and see how this whole thing gets integrated. The answer, it turns out, lies in this number, 12. We have 12 pairs of cranial nerves that come directly out of the brain. And this model, it frames them as the key interface points. Think of them like 12 high-speed USB ports connecting the body's entire information network directly to the central nervous system. And check this out. This chart shows just how specific these connections might be. For example, look at the optic nerve, which is obviously for vision. It's linked to the liver meridian, and in Chinese medicine, that's all about planning and being able to see the path forward. Or go down to the vagus nerve, our master regulator for all our internal organs. It maps right onto the meridians for the heart and circulation. It's just an amazing convergence of modern anatomy and ancient wisdom. So we've seen the network, but what's the ultimate destination for all this light information? Well, it goes all the way down, deep into our cells, where it has the potential to influence our very own genetic programming. The key mechanism here has a big scientific name, photobiomodulation, or PBM for short. Remember how we said red light acts as information? Well, PBM is the process of our cells reading that information. And this light signal is especially powerful for our stem cells, our body's master repair crew, helping them thrive, multiply, and get their job done. Here's a quick look at how it works. First, a photon of red light gets absorbed by the mitochondria. This immediately ramps up energy production and releases these important signaling molecules. Those signals then travel from the mitochondria to the nucleus, the cell's brain, where they can actually alter which genes are turned on or off. It literally changes the cell's behavior.
So here's the crucial point. This whole process, it doesn't change your genetic hardware. Your actual DNA sequence is the same. Instead, it changes the software. It can adjust what are called epigenetic marks, which are like little sticky notes on your DNA that tell the cell which genes to read and which ones to ignore. So light is literally helping to decide how your genetic code gets expressed.
And the impact on our stem cells is just profound. This chart really shows the whole picture. It boosts their numbers, as you see with enhanced proliferation. It helps guide what kind of cells they become, and it can even calm down inflammation. It's like giving our body's internal repair system a very precise set of instructions, and it's all delivered by light.
Okay, we've gone from the skin all the way down to the individual cell. Now let's zoom all the way back out and see how this all fits together into this comprehensive model of the human being, a kind of 4-layer biological operating system.
The framework for all of this is something called distributed adaptive control, or DAC theory. Don't worry about the name, it's just a way to organize how we process information and control our bodies, from the simplest physical reflexes to our most complex thoughts and behaviors.
So the system has 4 layers. At the bottom is the somatic layer. That's the direct physical impact, like a sunburn or charging up your mitochondria. Next is the reactive layer. That's your body's immediate automatic response, like your pupils shrinking in bright light. Then there's the adaptive layer. This is about learned, long-term adjustments like our daily sleep-wake cycle. And finally, at the top, is the contextual layer. That's us. Our conscious choices, our beliefs, even our cultures that are built around light.
This slide puts it all together into one beautiful feedback loop. See how it works? Light comes in and it triggers responses at those lower somatic and reactive levels. Over time, the whole system adapts. And then our conscious mind interprets all of this and decides to take action. The output, the light out, is our health, our behavior, even our state of consciousness. It's this continuous conversation between us and our environment. Now the model takes this one step further and reinterprets some pretty big spiritual concepts. It proposes that what some traditions might call ascension could actually be understood in biological terms. So it's not some mystical event, but the process of refining this very loop, of creating greater coherence and harmony between our energy field, our nervous system, and our conscious mind. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this entire model. Light is not passive. It's not just fuel for a machine. It is an active, fundamental force that is structuring our biology, informing ourselves, and literally shaping our reality from the inside out. Which leaves us with a final, really powerful question to think about. If our biology is constantly being written and rewritten by the light that we're exposed to, what happens when we start to participate consciously in that process? If light is the author, maybe, just maybe, we have the power to become its co-author.